What's going on, guys? It's Monday? Yeah, I usually go live on Tuesdays, but hey, I gotta work. It is what it is. So I decided today, since I have so many things going on, why not just add a fourth show in the lineup? Because I was originally scheduled to do 3 shows tonight. So I figured, why not do a fourth? Because, guys, I don't know about you, but I got a lot of filing to do after last week. When someone says 5-cent comic books, you go a little wild, because how often do you get a chance to buy something for 5 cents in the year 2020? Not too often. So today I'm going to show you guys what I got for 20 cents. But first, we got to get to that chat. So first off, huge, gigantic shout out to JB from Discovery Bay Comics. I just figured, I got a little bit of time this afternoon. I'll schedule something around after his show. And I kind of just threw him a link just in case he wanted to swap by and say hi. And he's just like, I'm going to make sure my viewers go to yours. So huge thank you to JB from Discovery Bay, as well as Elizabeth Mazak for putting the link like every 30 seconds. So big, huge thanks, guys. That was awesome. But first one in the chat, all the way from New Zealand. So we got an international, a whole bunch of people in this chat. This is awesome. The Uncanny Kyle Walker, the Prince of New Zealand. What is going on, Kyle? We also got straight from Japan, K Titus. What is going on, K Titus? Nice to see you coming over from JB's channel. We also got Scott Evans is hanging out in the chat today. Comic Man Andy, one of the best for sure. Can't wait to talk to him tonight on Modern Men. I'll be getting to details on that here in a second. And we got the king of the cosmos, or whatever his gimmick is this week, Chris Barrett. He says, I guess I'll try to do my best Stone Cold on this one for Barrett. So let me take a sip of water. I say, sip of water for the working man. He says, Barrett 316 says Cosmic King just hit the chat. What? So there you go. That one's for you, Chris. We got Elizabeth Bazak. Big thanks once again for the links earlier. We got Flash Ray Videos. He says, subbed and liked. I'm already at the show. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. Once you guys hit that sub and the like bell, that is awesome. Big thanks for that. Who else did I miss? Because my whole thing just scrolled across. All right, here we go. We got Comics for All People. Number 1, what is going on, man? He loves those newsstands. We got some newsstands we'll talk about here in a few minutes. And, of course, once again, big, huge shout-out to JB from Discovery Bay Comics. He's hanging out in the chat today as well. And I don't know about you guys, but I think we're all hooked on the brothers at this point. We got Two Brothers Comics hanging out in the chat. Nice to see you guys out this morning or this afternoon, whatever time zone you're in today. And then, of course, we still got K-Ties hanging out. So, all right. So I got to talk about what's going on today because, like I said, I got 3 live shows coming up. So first and foremost, we got Comic Gories at 8:30 p.m. Eastern tonight. That's over on the Boy Who Had Sevens channel. Pretty excited to be on Comic Gories. It's one of the best shows that's came up in the community, in my opinion. Lots of game show involvement. They've had a home version lately. So as you guys can see by these Post-it notes, I've actually been trying to get as organized as possible so I can run and find things in this room and hopefully not die trying to find a cover I like. So can't wait for that. I think most of you guys watching this know how that show works. Sometime today as well, I'll be recording my podcast, Comics of the Atom, with my friend Mike Green. The link to that is down below. There's an audio boom link. So if you can find your favorite podcast platform and find a way to listen to it there. But we are still reading Animal Man by Grant Morrison. We are trudging through this giant omnibus of Grant Morrison goodness. So if you guys like 80s Animal Man, come by and check us out. We'll be recording today. So hopefully this will be up sometime tomorrow morning, if not throughout this week. So highly recommended read. Definitely check that out. And then last but certainly not least, Modern Men tonight. We're going to talk about our top 5 most underrated characters, basically. I originally call it top 5 boys stable characters. I don't know if you guys watch Old School Wrestling Review, but I basically nicked that whole saying from them. It's basically like that character that you love and appreciate, but no one, whether it be, other comic collectors or publishers, really utilize, give 5 books or whatever. So we're not talking Batman and Superman. We're talking Booster Gold, Multiple Man, and so on and so forth. Andy's going to put Punisher at number 1 already, I know. But also we're going to be reading Wolverine Old Man Logan, the Mark Millar, Steve McNiven tale that started all the crazy old man books that have hit a boom for some reason the last few years. I haven't read anything past this for the old man stuff. Do I have this signed? Let's see. Oh, yeah. I got this Steve McNiven freebie he gave me when I met him in 2010. And then you guys know how I work. I got to have my stuff signed. So I got a nice Steve McNiven signature in this edition. So we'll be reading and reviewing this tonight. So hopefully you guys like that. And then, but you guys want to hear about what I picked up last week. So first off, I did 2 trips to my local shop because I just went for my Wednesday pickups. And he's had this like clearance discount room where basically everything in that room's like either $1 or 5 for $1. So I just picked up $1's worth of books. So I've been through the bins a few times, so I didn't really find much on this particular trip. But I had to get some Thundercats issue 13 newsstand edition, of course. And then look at this one. This is an awesome cover. It says it's up to Snarf to save the Thundercats. So I'll give you a snarf. So gotta love Snarf from the Thundercats. Why not? Every time I see a Thundercats comic anymore, especially for $1 or less, I'm going to pick that up every time. Had a rare, or not, probably not rare, but a random art germ cover I've seen here and there. Robotech issue number 1, kind of pre-art germ boom. I think this one was from 2017, if I remember right, but just a cool art germ cover. I've seen this around here and there, but to get it for 20 cents, figured why not? And then Chaos Comics. I do not see Chaos Comics too often, so when I do, I usually pick them up for $1 or less just because why not? They're not really talked about too much. Some phenomenal 90s glory. And who did 90s gimmicks better than Chaos Comics? And, oh, we got some shinies. They're going to look terrible on my camera, but up close, you just got to trust me. So we got Lady Death. I believe this is the Crucible number 1. Oh, my God. The gold 90s goodness on that one. Absolutely awesome. I love these goofy 90s covers. Another Lady Death. There you go. Boom. There's your glare. Like I said, that looks pretty terrible on my camera, but up close, these covers do look awesome, especially in, Mylights 2s. And then we got Purgatory number 1. Cool red metallic foil gimmick cover. So awesome chaos gimmick stuff. Gotta love it. I do want to say hi to Gomez. What's going on, Gomez? He's hanging out in the chat today as well. Nice to see him out and about. All right, for what I got a chance to read last week, because it was a busy week for me too, unfortunately. Had a chance to pick up a Black Label book. Got Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey, book 2 of 3. This book has been one of my favorite Black Labels that DC has done so far. If you like Amanda Conner and Jimmy Palmiotti's run on Harley Quinn, especially that pre-Rebirth one, I highly, highly recommend this Black Label. Not only do you get a phenomenal storyline, or just at least a hilarious story, you'll at least laugh once reading this if you like Harley Quinn. This is all Amanda Conner art too, so anytime anymore you get a chance to get some Amanda Conner interior art, you should just go ahead and get that book because she still does great work. Her covers have been phenomenal over the last few years, and her writing on Harley, but for a chance to get her writing plus her art, absolutely awesome. Just a fun book to get. This was my pick of the week last week. Got Green Lantern 80th anniversary. Just a great tribute to the Green Lantern label, basically. They got as many creative teams back together as possible to work on this book. So you see Jeff Johns and Ivan Rice get a chance to write a Hal story where he crash lands on the planet he thinks he's done for. He's sending messages to his loved ones in the Corps, basically saying goodbye. And at the end of the tale, his power ring is dead. His life support is done. He's expected to just die. He's ready to go. And it turns out once he takes his, protective gear off and that stuff, he turns around and sees a sign that says welcome. I can't remember the city, but basically he crashed on Earth. And at the very end, the last panel shows him sitting at the Justice League round table, and all of the Justice League is just laughing at him. So pretty funny story there. But my pick of the week, I guess, if you will, in this one was the Robert Venditti 4 Corpsmen story. So basically had to be paced off of, Ric Flair and the 4 Horsemen, basically. So I thought that was really cool. So basically it's just in the not too distant future, you see 3 of the 4 lanterns meet, and by 3 of the 4, Hal, Jon Stewart, Kyle Rayner. Guy Gardner's the one that's absent. So they're just sitting around telling Guy Gardner stories, having beer at a bar. And then it's revealed later that Guy Gardner had passed away, and they're just meeting up to basically pay tribute to Guy Gardner. So that was a pretty cool story. And they're all holding up the Four Horsemen sign at the end. So I thought that was pretty cool. So if you're a Green Lantern fan at all, I actually highly recommend this, because I feel like a lot of these 80th anniversaries are about cover. Otherwise, they're kind of just filler issues to fill shelves right now. It seems like a lot of them have been, even including the 1000 variants and that stuff between Marvel and DC. But this one was a lot of fun. So I highly recommend it for any Green Lantern people out there. Before I keep going, I do want to say hi to Don Dizzle. What's going on, Don Dizzle? Nice to see you in the chat. We still got Chris Barrett. When is the Aquaman anniversary? I'm not sure, but that's probably coming up soon too. I have a feeling like every month we're going to get an anniversary of something now. There'll be like a 32nd anniversary of somebody, or they're just going to start throwing random numbers out there, I feel like. So we still got CFAP in the chat as well. All right. We got Exorcisters issue number 6, and I think I said this on Comic Core last week. I need to go back and reread the last trade. A little bit lost. This book took such a hiatus. I was lost by it. I forgot this book was still active, to be honest. So I'll probably drop this and start collecting it or reading it digitally or in trades. Nonetheless, I still enjoy the art in this book, though. But nonetheless, I'm probably going to drop this off my list for the time being. Got Batman 93 going into the Joker War stuff. I figured story's supposed to get pretty good going into 100, I heard. So I wanted to get this on the pull list now because these Batman books have not been the easiest to find because of the whole whatever the new character name is. I can't remember anything about her yet because I haven't read enough Batman. But she basically fights Harley while Joker and Batman have their dispute, of course, as usual, where Joker ends up getting a nice sum of money toward the end of this from Bruce Wayne. So I look forward to seeing what he's going to do with Bruce Wayne's money going into Joker War. So it should be a fun read coming up. I had a double shot of Turtles last week. So we had TMNT Jenica number 3. Kind of glad this one's over because sometimes these mini-series of the TMNT stuff hit or miss for me because I feel like there's always like the main Turtle book, and they always have to have a supplemental book to get, $5 extra out of your wallet every month over at the IDW side. But still cool to have like that Mutant Town side story. I hope whatever the next miniseries is just straight up Mutant Town and Ninja Turtles, because that's the most compelling thing going on in their story right now. Which, speaking of, still my best book on the shelf right now, in my opinion. TMNT, this is issue 105. I still get all the Eastman covers on that. But yeah, basically the Turtles, they're back together. They're reunited. They're going out partying in Mutant Town. They decided to open up a dojo as a tribute to Master Splinter. They actually welcome Aliplex into the tribe, or the clan, if you will, and give her own bandana that's green. I thought that was a really awesome moment. And of course, Jenica is still part of the clan. So the clan has grown by a couple members in the last 5 or 6 issues. So I'm looking forward to seeing where they're going to go with this storyline. Because right now, like, I guess in the annual, I think the annual comes out Wednesday. I'm guessing that's where they're going to have like a new bad guy, basically, which I think is like a combination of Leatherhead and Krang. So we'll see what happens there. So yeah, but this book has been great. Let's see what the chat says. Chris Barrett says, we all know that Guy Gardner is Barry Windham of the Lanterns. Yeah, you're not wrong there. And then he says, I'm still pissed at myself. I had 93 and put it back. Yeah, it's been a solid read, in my opinion. Like, definitely Batman. James Tynion, he's always done quality work, in my opinion. Gomez says, I need to catch up on that myself. Missing 104 and 105. Yeah, definitely find those if you can, because it's like, I think around issue 102 or 103, they really slowed down the story that was going on post City of War. But I think it was 104. They really ramped it up and just, I don't know if you want to call it jumping the shark in some people's opinions, maybe. But I was kind of glad they kind of jumped that shark, basically, because the book was slowing down quite a bit. So it needed that shot of adrenaline, in my opinion. And Scott says, I think they're going into Ronin with it. Yeah, I cannot wait for Last Ronin. That's like my most looked forward to book this year. But I think that's kind of like, an Elseworld style tell. From what I understand, when I interviewed Kevin Eastman, that was a tale that him and Peter Laird came up with like decades ago, and it's just now seeing published work basically. So I hopefully that comes out on time. I cannot wait for Last Run, and that is my most looked forward to thing this year. We got that Texas Blood #1. So there was a lot of hype for this book and the story behind it. It was okay. I mean, I might wait for later reviews to see if I'll get a trade or a hardcover of this, but most likely I will be happy just reading issue 1. And then I'll probably read the whole thing digitally at some point later, but just interesting enough to make me want to read more. But I'm probably not going to add to the pull list. Angel and Spike #11. I still have no idea why Spike has been thrown into this book instead of staying in the Buffy book. Like I said, I think on the previous Tuesday stream, I'm fairly close to dropping the Buffy stuff for my list. It's lost a lot of steam since that big crossover, but they do. I'd say out of the 2 books going, this is the more interesting. They've introduced the Wolfram Hart and the Lila Morgan storyline. She's manipulating Fred, or she's not. We don't know that yet, but most likely she's manipulating Fred, of course. And then you have Detective Kate Lockhart is possessed by some sort of demon, and Angel's trying to get to the bottom of that. So this one's not too bad. The Buffy stuff with Kendra, I've never been a big, huge Kendra the Vampire Slayer fan, so for her to almost be the central point of that book, so we'll see if I keep getting that or not. And then the last one, before we get into those 5-cent books you guys are clamoring for, we got Action Comics 1022. So with my boy back, Superboy Connor Kent is back into the fold. I had to see him meet up with Clark once again so they can kind of bond and see what's going on. The main focal point in this is just Connor trying to figure out where he came from at this point, and Clark trying to remember who he is. The touching part of this book is when like pretty much no one else can remember who Superboy was because of, Flashpoint timelines, Doomsday Clock. I don't even know anymore. But basically, the ultimate solution to this is to get Superboy to Kent Farm, because when they're comparing notes, he's like, well, who did you stay with? Like, where did you live? He's like, I lived on Kent Farm with your parents. And he's just like, huh? Why would I do that? So they actually fly to Kent Farm, and Mom and Pa Kent remember Connor. So this bothers Superman because he doesn't remember at this point, but his parents do. So that troubles him, basically. So that's where this the House of Kent storyline kicks off. So I may have to start adding this to my pull list. This one was a lot of fun. There was also another storyline with the Daily Planet characters. I didn't know what was going on there. It didn't catch my interest. So hopefully that isn't a focal point of the House of Kent storyline, but it probably will be. So that's what's holding me back from just wanting to eventually read this for free digitally on the DC app a year from now. All right, so that was the stuff I got a chance to read last week. I do want to say a special hello to Spidey Fan. What is going on, Spidey Fan? He says 5-cent haul, and he says Tuesday night live stream on Monday. Must be in Bizarre World. Yeah, I have to work tomorrow night, and I want to get these books sorted and at least organized at some point. So I decided just to do it this morning, because why not? That way I can get the rest of the stuff bagged and boarded. But the story behind all of this and the stuff I haven't had a chance to bag and board yet. So I was looking on Instagram. Like I said, I didn't get too much extra stuff from my local shop this week. But I got home from work, I think it was around Friday or Saturday, and I checked Instagram as soon as I set my recliner, and my local shop posted, we have too many books not selling in this clearance room. I know it's $5 for $1, but until we sell 1,000 books, everything is $20 for $1. We've added more stuff as well to the selection. I'm just like, huh? $20 for $1? So I didn't even take off my work clothes. After I set down my keys, I just went and got my keys and wallet, got back in my car and drove to the comic shop. And I think I was one of the first people to see his post on Instagram, because luckily for the first 40 minutes I was there, there was only maybe one other person in there. So yeah, I think I felt like I almost got first dibs. So pretty much everything I've been bagging and boarding, it's like, since they're Mylars, is 34 cents for the bag and 5 cents for the comic. So I'm going to combine 39 cents on each of these comics, I guess, including the Mylar. So for 5 cents, I'm just going to go ahead and buy these books if they're impulse buys, or if I like them and already had them. I'll pick them up and maybe gift them to somebody later who's interested in the characters. But I'll go ahead and show those in a second. But I want to say hi to Count Von Strange the Fourth. What is going on, Count? This guy keeps putting out Swamp Thing content, so check out his channel if you like Swamp Thing. And Alec Holland with Chris Barrett says booster gold. Oh man, you better believe I would have picked that up for a nickel. But unfortunately, I did not see a boost. I didn't see any booster gold at all, which we'll talk about that 10:05 tonight on Modern Men, if you know what I mean. JB, he says 20 for $1. And he gets his trademark catchphrase, holy sheet. So without further ado, I'll just start with the ones I haven't had a chance to bag. I was bagging up during JB's show, trying to get as much done before that. But at the end of the day, I ended up picking up 80 books. Oh, yeah, I had a question in the chat. He says, Spidey fan asked, how many short boxes are you up to now? Let's see. So we got 25. Let's see. 55 after this. So this is probably going to be a short one. So I had 54 in there. So this will probably make short box number 55. Ugh, God, that's wow. 55 short boxes. That's too much in my opinion. But hey, when you find them for 5 cents, well, everyone would have done the same thing. Let's be honest. All right. So we're going to start rapid fire these books because, hey, I got a lot of reading to do today. So I ended up finding most of this Terminator Burning Earth series. This is some extremely early Alex Ross work. Actually, I think issue 1 might be his first published artwork, which if you guys look, hey, he does the insides as well. So at some point, I want to read this whole thing because I never have. And I've never really heard too many people talk about the story. They just kind of look at the cover and indicate that it's Alex Ross's stuff. So I found issues 2 through 5. So I just need that issue 1 to complete the set. So I got the 20 cents worth of Terminator Burning Earth. So at some point I'm going to see if I can find that issue 1 or at least read it digitally and maybe get the rest of these ran. But yeah, I thought this was really cool getting a chance to pick these up for 5 cents. I got some Marvel Age, Beavis and Butthead on a Marvel Age comic. So who would have thought Marvel Age 134, and I think it has some sort of fun set of cards on the inside. So, you know, more 90s gimmicks. You got to love it. So got those Fleer Ultra X-Men cards. Next up, we got, hey, 5 cent Miles Morales. Why wouldn't I? So I got Ultimate Comics Spider-Man issue number 3. I believe, I don't know if this is technically a swipe of the Ultimate Spider-Man issue 1. It looks very familiar to that cover with the pose and stuff. But yeah, issue number 3 for 5 cents. That was a no-brainer right there. Got some Elvira stuff. So looks like Garcia Lopez did this really cool Elvira cover on Elvira's Haunted Holidays, number 1. So thought that was pretty awesome. And then we got some Elvira's House of Mystery, which I'm slowly starting to accumulate all of these as well. So this is issue number 3 of that. I think I have 2 other issues of this run. So I thought that was awesome. We got some Adam Hughes Justice League of America. This is issue number 43. A lot of people don't realize for whatever reason that he actually did the interior work and some covers like this cover here on this book. So if you guys like yourself some Adam Hughes, don't sleep on these Justice League Americas because he did good work in that book as well. Going back to Chaos Comics, who would have thought I would have found more Chaos Comics? Evil Ernie, Revenge, number 1. So this has got like that, I don't know how to describe this 90s gimmick. They did it on the Underworld Unleashed series that they did for DC. But if you feel the cover, it's actually got like a grainy feel where the green parts are. So I don't know if that's glow in the dark or not. I'll have to test that out at some point. It may be a glow in the dark cover. But yeah, always love these Chaos comic gimmicks. Another Ultimate Comics Spider-Man. This is Cataclysm issue number 2. So cool Cloak and Dagger cover there from David Marquez. And then here is issue 1 of that run. So I think this is supposed to be like the original end of the Ultimate Universe. I've lost track over the years. 5 cents. Every time I see this, I pick it up. All-Star Superman. One of the best runs of Superman ever. This is another freebie special edition that I feel like it was a free comic book day or may have been sent to shops around the time Man of Steel came out. Actually, that's probably the right answer because, hey, there's the banner right there for Man of Steel. I got this Adam Hughes Ferris cover. I think it was this Ferris number 5. Yeah. Ferris number 5 for 5 cents. I absolutely love this cover. I think this may be the best cover in that run. So I thought, I think I already have this one signed, but I was just like, for 5 cents, I'm not going to leave that laying in there. Got Winter Soldier number 1. I think I have the Joe Kubert variant on this, but I didn't have the A cover, so I figured I'd go ahead and get the A cover on that. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Barry says, remember that Comic Core yard sale when Kat got that Ultimate Fallout 4? I wonder if she actually ever did get that Ultimate Fallout 4. I'll have to follow up on that. Thanks for reminding me, Barrett. Doctor Strange, issue number 43, going into the Infinity War. So we got an Infinity War crossover. So I thought that was kind of neat. Find some older stuff. Found some Roger Rabbit comics. I don't see these ever. So I found Roger Rabbit. That's issue number 5. Also got issue number 8. And then issue number 9. But we're not done yet. We got issue number 13. So I found a really good chunk of this Roger Rabbit run. But I didn't find an issue 1, unfortunately. That would have been the cherry on the ice cream sundae, I guess. We got Infinity Wars number 1. So he not only had like just, I don't know if it was someone's collection or what, but he was selling some of his back issues. He just threw them in that room to get rid of them. So this is probably like what? Yeah, $6 comic like a couple of years ago. 5 cents, not bad. So yeah, thought that was worth that. I got a Snot Girl Image First. Cat Ren Figures, speaking of Cat Ren, has recommended this book like crazy. So I figured why not try it out for 5 cents. Got some cool covers for World of New Krypton. Plus, hey, James Robinson, Greg Ruck on the title. Not too bad. So I just like that Gary Frank art on the cover, to say the least. So I got issue 1. And then right behind that, of course, they had issue 2. So I still need to bag and board those. Chris is dogging Chad in the chat. Chad, if you're watching, you owe people comic books, buddy. All right, so we'll get to another stack here. These are the ones actually had a chance to Mylar up, luckily. So we had so it's a shame Andy had the run, because I know he would have liked this one. Punisher 2099 number 1. I'm slowly getting all these 2099s. I think the only one I'm missing now is Spider-Man 2099. I don't think I have that in the collection. So that's probably the only one left I'm missing, because I also got Ravager 2099. And actually, I may be Doom number 1 as well. But yeah, I'm not a big 2099 guy, but I've heard good things about it. Got this Kabuki issue 1, Act 1 from Caliber Comics. There's so many Kabuki number 1s. I don't even know which one was. It's kind of like Dawn and Lady Death and all that stuff. They had so many number 1s of these characters that I don't even know what's like the first volume, the second one, and so on and so forth. But I want to at least pick up one day. I just like David Mack's artwork, so I picked that up. Here's a book I thought used to have a little bit of heat on it, but I think it's cooled down a lot. But I still love this cover. Ghost Rider 21, newsstand edition, of course. But yeah, just an awesome cover. I've seen this around auctions in the community and stuff, so I figured really cool pickup for 5 cents. Maybe my favorite pickup of this whole lot. Maybe you guys will have a different choice or agree with that. We'll see. I got 2 copies of Fantastic Four number 4 from, I think this is when they did the Heroes Reborn. So I think this is the B cover. I don't know if it was like an incentive cover or an American Entertainment / Dynamic Forces variant of some sort. But I think this was the Christmas variant, and then the regular cover, if I remember right, was this one, but I could be completely wrong on that. But yeah, 2 of the same comic from February 97. But yeah, just to get like a pre-2000s variant cover of any type is usually pretty cool. Mars Attacks number 1, kind of like the Mars Attacks they put out to plug the movie, which I still love that movie. It was kind of, it's kind of awful, but kind of awesome at the same time. Just the amount of celebrities they jammed into it just to kill off in like 30 seconds. A lot of nostalgia for Mars Attacks for me. That movie in the 90s I still love that thing. And look, you get Keith Giffen, you get Charlie Adler to art before Walking Dead. So what's not to love there? I probably already have all these Funeral for Friends, but I wasn't going to leave newsstand copies laying in the bin. So I got Adventure Superman 498, which is the part 1 of Funeral for a Friend. So this is the follow-up issue to Superman 75. Plus, hey, Ordway, Grummett, Hazelwood. What a great team that is right there. So absolutely awesome book, in my opinion. I've not read the Gerard Way Doom Patrol. I don't know much about it, but I just thought this B cover looked awesome for issue 4. So figured why not go ahead and pick that up. By the way, the show is back on HBO Max and the DC app. They put 3 episodes out last week, and they're all awesome. This is my favorite show they do on the DC app. So I had Doom Patrol in the mind when I was doing some shopping. Now, I don't know. I see Spidey fans still in the chat. He says, these are the best 5-cent books ever. And I know he has a little bit of comic knowledge, of course. So here's a weird one. If anyone in the chat knows anything about this book, chime in, please. This just says Ultimate Marvel, Destruction of the Ultimate Marvel Universe, or Destruction of the Ultimate Universe. I think this was a not-for-resale copy of, I don't know if this just went right to retailers or if this was a freebie on the stands, but this just seems to be a sampling of work around Ultimatum time and the Ultimate Universe. So I have no idea what this book is. I kind of tried to look it up. I didn't see too much information on it, but nonetheless, it's just a killer David Finch cover. So if anyone knows what this is, I'm curious. More Miles Morales Ultimate Spider-Man number 4. Like I said, these books are heating up, so I would have been a dummy to leave this for 5 cents. So pretty much if it had Miles on it, which I have a criminally low amount of Miles Morales in the collection. I really like the character, but for some reason, I think I was just feeling, I don't know, I think I was just disappointed they killed off Ultimate Peter Parker, because I had that whole run. I really dug that character, and they killed him off. So I think I was just a little bitter at the Ultimate line when they did that. But honestly, bringing in Miles was a great decision. I completely agree 100% with their decision making now. So I thought that was pretty cool. Spidey fan says, Discovery Bay, I want to do a comic collection giveaway, just pay shipping thing. Are you interested? Are you still doing community sales? Yeah, actually, I think he did one this last Saturday, and actually hit him up as well. It turns out I have to work that Saturday next month, JB, but I think JB typically does a big community sale the last Saturday of each month, and then I think he's doing one Wednesday as well. But hey, he's still in the chat. He can probably answer for me. I just saw him. So here's another great book I already have in the collection, but one of my favorites, Detective Comics 854. This starts the Batwoman elegy storyline that I've gone on and on about to Drew Manchu's chagrin, because I know he's not a fan of that. And you get the Renee Montoya question back up. So some of Greg Rucka's best comics is this run right here. So I highly recommend this run. I think I have the copy of this signed by Greg Rucka. I have a slab of the J.G. Jones variant cover. Definitely one of my favorite detective runs for sure. We got a milestone number 1, Blood Syndicate issue number 1. I don't think this thing has ever been read. Like, of course, a lot of these, I'll be honest, there's a tick or two on each of them. They're not all 9.8 near mints. Obviously, they were in a 5-cent bin. So, but to be honest, for 5 cents, a lot of them are in great condition. But this one in particular, I could probably get a high grade on if I decided to do grading like that. Miss Marvel, number 19. I think this is like one of the last ones I was missing out of my Miss Marvel Kamala Khan run. I don't have a lot of that second run, but the first run I pretty much had the whole thing. I moved during the Secret Wars, basically. So I bought a house and moved 4 hours south when this book was coming out. So I had to switch local shops, of course. And this is one of the books I think I missed out on during that move. So basically, I was able to pick that up for 5 cents. Can't beat that. Chris Barrett says Drew's horse is sick when he hears Batwoman. Yeah, I'll have to mention Batwoman more often. We got some more Adam Hughes Justice League. This is issue number 35. He does the interiors, and they look great. I was actually flipping through it when I was watching JB's recap today of everything. So he does a really cool Blue Beetle in this one. So I thought that was great. Batman Year 3, 436, another newsstand edition. This one is a little beat up. Basically, I started picking up like all the Batman stuff too. A lot of them, they got ticks too, but still, why wouldn't I for 5 cents? There's Detective Comics 634 as well. Love that red UPC variant, by the way. So one of the ones I was missing out of that detective run. Deathmate Blue. So I see these Deathmate covers all the time, especially like the Deathmate Silver. And, of course, the most notable one's probably Deathmate Black, first appearance of Gen 13. But when it comes to, like, Deathmates Red and Blue, those are the ones I see a lot less. I still see these all the time, though. That being said, like, once a year I'll see one for $1. It's not like I'd never see this. But I would buy this all day for 5 cents. I have a lot of nostalgia when it comes to the Deathmate stuff, just because me and my brother collected Gen 13 as a kid, and this was their origin basically once you get to that black issue. So that means you got to get the rest once you read the one. So always have nostalgia for Deathmate Blue, Yellow, and all that stuff too. We got Man of Steel number 22 in a newsstand, so had to get like this as well because like, hey, newsstand. John Henry Irons' own book for the first time, basically post Superman or Adventures 501. This is another book from my childhood I've always liked. I probably have a million copies of it, but I figured why not add one more. So that's the next stack. So we're on to the next, I think, 40-ish books. So still got this many to go, guys. So thanks for sticking with me here. Enjoy me on a random time on a Monday because I know I usually go live on Tuesdays, which unfortunately schedules did not accommodate that this week. But I wanted to get these shown, have you guys enjoy them along with me, and we'll keep trucking along. That being said, I've got some Ultimate X-Men, which if I was an Ultimate collector and I wanted Ultimate stuff and didn't already have a lot of it, I would have probably left with like 120 books because they had a lot of they pretty much had like the entire early run of Ultimate X-Men, maybe minus the first 5 issues. There was a decent amount of Ultimate Fantastic Four in there as well. But yeah, I already have pretty much all of the Ultimate X-Men I want. I think I picked up a couple. I probably picked up a lot of doubles actually. But there was one storyline I didn't have the whole thing of, and I was trying to fill it in. But I got the Ultimate X-Men 14 and 13 as well, which 13 is one of my all-time favorite Adam Kubert covers. I just thought that was a great Gambit cover. So cover's so nice I had to buy it twice basically. I think I have a signed one in the collection. I can't remember if I got them to sign this or not. I might have to try to correct that at some point one day. But one of my favorite Adam Kubert covers for sure. And then, of course, he did issue 14 as well, interiors and exterior. We got issue 29. So I'm trying to get all this Return of the King storyline. I think I was missing parts 3 and 4, which there's parts 3 and 4 right there. And then I think I just threw in 6 because that was next to it, of course. But basically, this is when Ultimate X-Men, I think this is where they had like their big showdown with Magneto, if I remember right. They had been building up to it for a very long time. After the initial, like the first 10 with the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, they get that out of the way. But one of my reading goals in the world, basically, which I have way too many to name, I wouldn't mind trying to read the Ultimate stuff again. I really want to read an entire run through of Ultimate Spider-Man. And of course, I want to read like the first 33 issues, I think it is, of Ultimate X-Men. 34 is good. That's just when Mark Millar exited the title and they brought in Bendis, which that was a good stuff too. Don't get me wrong. There's Finch's early work, and then you got Brian Bendis doing both titles. But yeah, the Ultimate stuff, some of my favorite stuff that like no one talks about. Like talk speculation for a second. Like if I was wanting to like get dirt cheap, like quarters, pennies on the dollar stuff, and eventually like one day see it go up, or just good reads. Don't sleep on the first run Ultimate stuff like X-Men, Spider-Man, Fantastic Four. They're great reads, and they can pretty much be found for nothing right now. It's kind of like if you're a game collector, you're collecting like Xbox 360 stuff. Basically, it's like the easiest stuff to get now. But maybe one day it'll see the light again. We got more Batman for 5 cents. Detective Comics 656, another newsstand edition. Really cool Sam Keith cover on that one. And all things considered, this is not a bad copy. More 90s gimmicks. That's the only reason I picked this one up. We got this Vision cover on Avengers 360, like this like penny, copper, shiny, embossed cover. Not the most compelling color they could have picked, but hey, 90s gimmicks, you got to love it. CFAP says, Ultimate X-Men picking up some heat again. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. So great. Green Lantern 106, had to get the newsstand copy. Do like the Ron Mars run because why not? I haven't read a lot of the Mars stuff besides Emerald Twilight, but what I've read, because I would pick up the crossover stuff when I was a kid. So like I didn't collect straight through after Emerald Twilight. I probably had like the first 6 issues of Kyle Rayner. And then I got like the 0 issue, the 0 hour crossover and stuff like that. And then I think eventually issue 100. So I wasn't a subscriber to Green Lantern, but I picked it up when I could as a kid. Another Miss Marvel issue number 7. Just figured why not go ahead and pick that up. It's probably one of the first meetings of the champions, I'm guessing. I could be completely wrong. Who knows? But still a cool cover. Early run Justice League #2 from Giffen, DeMatteis, and McGuire. So they all do great work. I have issue 1. Figured why not go ahead and issue 2 since it was in front of me for 5 cents. Same thing for issue number 28. Just a hilarious looking cover where Guy Gardner and Ice go on a date, it looks like. So probably an all comedy issue. Chris Barrett says, Green Lantern is hard to figure out where to start. I would highly recommend going to the Boy Who Had Sevens channel. Him and Matty Thanatos did a series with the Jeff Johns stuff. You could either start with Green Lantern Rebirth, which is Van Skyer and Jeff Johns, or you could do what they did. I think they did Green Lantern Secret Origin, which is in the middle of the Jeff Johns run, and then went back and then read Rebirth. I'd probably recommend Rebirth because at least that has enough information to fill in the gaps of like what happened with Emerald Twilight and Final Night, where Hal Jordan gets infected by Parallax and then helps redo the sun in the DC universe when the sun goes out. And then because he does that, he gets turned into the Spectre. You kind of find all that out in that first or second issue of Green Lantern Rebirth, and the story just kind of amps up from there. So it doesn't tell you everything, but it tells you enough to get you hooked into the story. And then after that, you get the Green Lantern #1 from Jeff Johns, which has like that Alex Ross cover or the Carlos Pacheco one, depending on which volume you buy. But you just go from there. And it's all good after that. So it's circa around like 2005. You can go back and check out the 90s stuff, but really probably the main notable one's the Emerald Twilight, which is like 3 or 4 issues. And that was pretty much it. More Hughes Justice League, issue number 40. So we got that. Once again, I think they're doubles for me, but I wasn't going to leave them laying in there because these technically may be upgrade copies. So we got some beautiful Joe Staton Green Lantern Corps issue 207. We got issue 203 as well. Unfortunately, they didn't have a first Kilowog, but they're actually well on their way. And we got issue 204. And I don't even know how many copies of this I've owned in my lifetime. Probably more than I should, but I picked up one more copy because why not? Adventures of Superman 501. Gotta love that Superman, my boy Connor Kent. I may actually like try to make some art out of this because I have so many copies of this that I love it. Oh man, we got a huge Green Lantern fan just entered the chat. We got Roman Curtis, man. What is going on, Roman? You've been killing it on the auction scene lately. He says, thank you, Seawood, for trying to explain where to start with Green Lantern. LOL. So I appreciate that. I know he loves him, some of that Grant Morrison Green Lantern. There's a lot of great keys in that run, it turns out. Thanks to Roman Curtis for letting us know all the keys in that Green Lantern Grant Morrison run. There's a lot of cool ones. So highly recommend that run. I love me some Green Lantern. I know he does too. We got Superman number 76 going back to Funeral for a Friend. Another newsstand edition because why not? Actually, I had some Wolfman Teen Titans in there. So I got I think this is New Teen Titans Volume 2, basically. Issue number 31. So didn't have that one in the collection. 5 cents, I got a Sabretooth number 1. Once again, I think this is a double for me. I can't either that or I just gave away the other copy I had. I can't remember. Got a Silver Surfer issue 76. So I've been trying to get a lot of this Silver Surfer run. There's a lot of cool artwork, a lot of cool storytelling in this Silver Surfer run. So I'm keeping collecting it. I got a second printing of Batman 18. So I think this collects my Batman 18 run for some reason because last week I got the Andy Kubert incentive cover, and then now I have the second printing of the Death of Damian Wayne reaction basically in that storyline. These aren't too old, so I was surprised they were still available for 5 cents. I ended up getting X-23 issue 6 and then X-23 issue 5, if nothing else, just for the awesome Ashley Witter covers. One of my favorite top cover artists going today. But yeah, especially this one here. Excellent cover. Got the Infinity Wars issue 2 Gamora face hidden variant, I guess. I think this is one of the first hidden variants they tried out. So yeah, $5 book for 5 cents. Can't beat that. Roman Curtis loves him. Some Jack of Hearts. Absolutely, man. More Roger Rabbit. I forgot I had more Roger Rabbit. So I got issue number 4 as well. At least that made it into a Mylar bag because I still need to bag up the rest. I ended up getting the other Mike Turner cover. I left in the bins last time for 20 cents. Got it for 5 this time. So got some cool Mike Turner Soulfire issue number 7. I think I pretty much got a lot of that run now. So there's Roman's comment from earlier. It finally loaded up on the StreamYard side. They only had one Harley book. I picked it up because I like Amanda Connor's artwork. Harley Quinn, Gang of Harleys, number 4. Unfortunately, they didn't have the rest of the run. Surprisingly enough, I can't remember if I had these or not. I just went and picked them up again because why wouldn't I? Amazing X-Men number 1 and then Astonishing X-Men number 1. Both of Age of Apocalypse crossovers. So, yeah, probably should have just bought all the Age of Apocalypse they had, but I think I have most of it in my childhood collection up top. Miss Marvel number 8, another Civil War II tie-in. Sorry, I forgot how to talk there for a second, but yeah, always got to get the Kamala Khan as well as the Miles Morales. X-Men Legacy 300, I believe this, I could be wrong. I think this is the last X-Men Legacy before they did another renumbering or reboot on the X-Men stuff. So thought that was fun to find. Apparently, yeah, another $5 book for 5 cents. Going back to Batman, it's a little ticked off, but I had to get it anyway. I think this is not book number. It made it an even 80, so I picked it up. Batman 481. So I picked that up. Some really cool Denny O'Neil, Joe Quesada stuff in Batman Sword of Azrael book 2. Unfortunately, I didn't have book 1. That would have been really awesome to find, but love me some Joe Quesada artwork, so I had to get that. Especially, hey, Joe Quesada in DC. Besides the Azrael stuff, you don't see a lot of Joe Quesada outside of Marvel. Besides, obviously, his Valiant fun stuff with Ninjak and that stuff as well. Going back to the Marvel Age, we got Marvel Age number 117, chronicling the 2099 stuff. Allegedly, the true first talk, I guess. I was just looking this up online just because I didn't know, like, I don't know my timeline on the 2099 release. Apparently, someone said this is apparently 2099 Doom's first appearance, but yeah, who knows about that. Roger Rabbit number 7. I said if they had like the first 3 issues, I would have been able to get this whole run for 5 cents a piece. Another Roger Rabbit issue number 11. Oh, yeah, we got Jesse from JLS Comics joining us. What is going on, JLS? Chris Barrett says, I got the White Knight Von Freeze issue for 30 cents a few weeks back. That's awesome. Yeah, I feel like I saw it for $1. Well, I just left it because I already had it for like $800 or however much the cover price was. JLS says, I've been watching a lot of 90s era WWE dark matches. That's cool, man. Definitely let me know if there's any highlights from those dark matches you've been watching. Because I remember, like, I think the last one I watched was like Brett and Austin. I feel like it was in like Kuwait, maybe. That's like the same trip that Vader got in trouble, if I remember right. But yeah, definitely a fascinating time to watch those dark matches because there were so many matchups that never made it to television, or just those classic matchups that, you know, they could put on TV every week and people would go crazy over. One last Roger Rabbit, issue number 10, and the last, book number 80, last 5 cent pickup I picked up. So this whole haul, by the way, cost $4.27. I can't remember the tax on it. $4 plus tax is all I paid for these 80 books. Superman 75 out of the black bag edition. It has been crunched on the bottom, but for historical sake and my personal collecting sake, I had to have this the second I saw it. I have a bagged version of this. I have the 4th printing, which is my original printing I read as a kid, the first comic I ever owned. I have a signed copy by Dan Jurgens of the regular A cover. So pretty much the only one I didn't have to enjoy was this one out of the bag. So I figured it was a pretty cool way to complete this, is just to find this for 5 cents. But yeah, Superman 75 for 5 cents. I would have bought every copy of Superman 75 they had if they had like 20 of them, to be honest. So, and I wouldn't try to make money off of it. I probably would have either kept them or gifted them because I love that book so much. So the book that started it all for me, started my collecting, started me being interested in this hobby. I thought that was really cool to find that for 5 cents. So, all right. That wraps up everything I have today. So finally I can sort and finish bagging and boarding. But to recap everything that's going on today with me, this is my first of 4 shows I'm doing today for some reason. I don't know why I said doing 4 shows, but I'm going to be doing a lot of reading today. So first up for me, I'm going to be joining my friend Mike Green over on the Comics of the Atom podcast. We're going to be recording that today, so hopefully that'll be at some point tomorrow. There is an audio boom link down below if you guys want to find that on your favorite podcasting platform. We are still reviewing Animal Man from the Grant Morrison run, so we're trudging through this entire omnibus. So we're kind of at that point. We're getting into the volume 2 stuff, and that's where it starts to get really weird in that Grant Morrison style. So definitely, if you guys like Animal Man, Grant Morrison, recommend checking that out. Also doing Comic Gories on the Boy Who Had Sevens channel tonight, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. That's the fun post-its in the harder core organization I've been doing lately. Actually, you guys can't see it, but like that shelf I have above where I can organize stuff alphabetically, it's finally empty. I'm going to refill it up with all this 5-cent madness, but at least emptied it out last night so I could refill it with this stuff. But yeah, getting organized for Comic Gories tonight so I can show down against Bearded Comic Bro, I believe is my opponent for tonight. Trivia Master, from what I hear from the Bruce Moreau stuff. So he won their title, so big congrats to him. And then I think Take the Time Collectibles and Alec Whitewell Comics is the other people who will be part of tonight's stream. And of course, you get Boy Out 7, John's Comics with Kids hosting the thing. They always do a great job. So really excited for that tonight. And then the last thing, Modern Men 10:05, or as soon as Comic Gories wraps up, we'll be going live with Modern Men tonight on the Comic Core channel. We are reviewing Old Man Logan. This won the poll last week that we had on the Comic Core community tab. So this is my first time rereading it in probably over a decade. So I definitely cannot wait to revisit the rest of this. I'm 2 issues deep so far, and so far it's a nice, easy read. So I forgot how fun this was. I really like Mark Millar, Steve McNiven, obviously one of my favorite artists. See, got a signature from him in this book and everything. Met him at C2E2 2010. Got a sketch from him later at Cincinnati about 2016, if I remember right. So, yeah, definitely got a lot of reading to do, a lot of prepping to do for Comic Gories tonight. Chris Barrett says, too many good dark matches, and the core needs to start going to other territories. Yeah, we need to barter out Ric Flair for more money, I guess, basically like the NWA. So with that, guys, I got a lot of work to do comic related today, so we're going to wrap this up. Big thanks for everyone for joining me. Once again, big, huge shout out to JB, Discovery Bay Comics, for all the plugs on every show I have set up today. He was nice enough to make his crowd come over here for a little bit, so big thanks once again to everybody watching. And other than that, have a good afternoon and the rest of your day, guys.